Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head over and over again, cringing at something you said, wishing you could take it back? You're not alone. So many of us get trapped in this endless loop of post-conversation analysis, and it's exhausting. But why do we do it? Why do we torture ourselves by overthinking every single word? Well, today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind this common habit. We'll explore the hidden reasons why you might be constantly second-guessing your conversations, and more importantly, we'll talk about how to break free from this cycle. So if you're ready to find some peace of mind and have more confident conversations, stick around. First, let's understand what's happening in our brains. When we overthink something we've said, we're engaging in a process called rumination. It's like a mental hamster wheel. You're not problem-solving. You're just replaying the event, focusing on the negative aspects and your perceived mistakes. This isn't just a quirky personality trait. It's often rooted in deeper psychological patterns. One of the primary drivers is a fear of social judgment. We are social creatures, hardwired to seek acceptance and avoid rejection. When you overthink a conversation, you're essentially trying to scan for any potential threat to your social standing. Did I offend someone? Did I sound stupid? Will they still like me? This fear can be so powerful that your brain goes into overdrive, trying to control a situation that has already passed. It's a protective mechanism, but one that has gone haywire, causing more anxiety than it prevents. Another major factor is perfectionism. If you're someone who holds yourself to incredibly high standards in other areas of your life, it's likely that this perfectionism spills over into your social interactions. You believe there's a perfect thing to say in every situation, and anything less is a failure. After a conversation, you might scrutinize your performance, picking apart every phrase. You might think, I should have been wittier, or I could have explained that better. This relentless pursuit of the perfect conversation sets you up for disappointment, because, let's be real, human interaction is messy and imperfect. There is no perfect script. By striving for an impossible ideal, you're guaranteeing that you'll always find something to criticize in yourself. This isn't about self-improvement, it's self-punishment disguised as high standards. Low self-esteem also plays a huge role. If you fundamentally don't believe in your own worth or intelligence, you'll naturally assume others see you in the same negative light. You'll interpret neutral comments as criticism and silence as disapproval. After a conversation, someone with low self-esteem might think, they were probably just being polite, I bet they think I'm so boring. Your internal critic becomes the narrator of your social experiences, and it's a very harsh narrator. You're looking for evidence to confirm your negative self-beliefs. This creates a vicious cycle. You feel bad about yourself, so you expect social rejection, which makes you overthink conversations, which then makes you feel even worse about yourself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, fueled by a lack of self-compassion. Let's also talk about something called the spotlight effect. This is a cognitive bias, where we tend to believe that people are paying far more attention to us, our appearance, our actions, our words, than they actually are. You might be agonizing for days over a slightly awkward comment you made, convinced that everyone remembers it and is judging you for it. But the reality? Most people are too wrapped up in their own lives and their own insecurities to give your minor slip-up a second thought. Think about it. How often do you lie awake at night thinking about something slightly awkward a friend said last week? Probably never. You've likely forgotten it completely. The same applies to you. The spotlight you feel isn't real. It's one you're shining on yourself. Realizing this can be incredibly liberating. So we've explored the why. Now let's get to the most important part, the how. How do we stop this mental torture? The first step is awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act. When you notice your mind starting to spiral and replay a conversation, gently label it. Say to yourself, there's that overthinking again. Don't judge yourself for it. Just acknowledge it. This simple act of mindfulness creates a bit of space between you and the thought, reminding you that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This distance is the first step toward regaining control. Once you've caught yourself, it's time to challenge the negative thoughts. This is a core technique from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Ask yourself some critical questions. Is there any real evidence that the person is upset, or am I just assuming? What's a more balanced or positive way to look at this? Could there be other explanations for their reaction that have nothing to do with me? For example, maybe they were quiet not because you were boring, but because they had a long day and were tired. By actively questioning your automatic negative thoughts, you begin to weaken their power. You're training your brain to consider alternative, more realistic possibilities instead of defaulting to the worst-case scenario. Another powerful tool is to practice self-compassion. Instead of beating yourself up, try treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend. If your friend was agonizing over something they said, you wouldn't tell them, "Yeah, you really messed up. Everyone probably thinks you're an idiot." No, you'd say, "Hey, it's okay. We all say awkward things sometimes, it's not a big deal." So why not offer yourself that same grace? Remind yourself that it's human to be imperfect. You can even try a self-compassion mantra like, "I am doing the best I can, and that is enough," or "I accept myself, flaws and all." It might feel silly at first, but with practice it can rewire your internal monologue from one of criticism to one of support. Let's also talk about grounding techniques. When you're lost in your head, bringing your attention back to the present moment can break the rumination cycle. A simple technique is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Look around you and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This exercise forces your brain to focus on your immediate sensory experience, pulling you out of the past and into the now. You can also focus on your breath. Take a few slow, deep breaths, paying full attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This calms your nervous system and provides an anchor to the present moment, making it harder for those racing thoughts to take over. Finally, shift your focus outward. Overthinking is an incredibly self-focused activity. To break the cycle, consciously turn your attention to others. In conversations, instead of worrying about how you're coming across, focus on being genuinely curious about the other person. Ask them questions. Listen, really listen to their answers. When you're genuinely engaged with someone else, you have less mental bandwidth to worry about yourself. After the conversation, instead of analyzing your performance, you can reflect on what you learned about them. This not only reduces your own anxiety, but also makes you a better friend and conversationalist, which in turn leads to more positive social interactions. It's a win-win. Breaking the habit of overthinking isn't an overnight fix. It's a skill that requires practice and patience. But by understanding the psychological roots of this habit and consistently applying these strategies, you can quiet that inner critic and learn to trust yourself in conversations. You can move from a place of fear and self-doubt to one of confidence and genuine connection. Remember, your words have value and you deserve to be heard without judging yourself so harshly. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you found these insights helpful. If this resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on psychology and self-improvement. Let me know in the comments which of these strategies you're going to try first. Take care and be kind to your mind.